Hi, good morning. In the last session, we have discussed about double annihilator or annihilator of an annihilator. Now we are going to prove one result. Now, before that, we are going to discuss one definition that already we have discussed. Let V be definition of a hyperspace. Let V be a vector space. A hyperspace in V is a maximal proper subspace of V. I think that we have already discussed. If V is of finite dimensional and it is of dimension n, then a subspace of dimension n minus 1 is called a hyperspace in the case of a finite dimensional space. So if in general, there may be infinite dimensional space. Okay, in general, if V is a vector space, a hyperspace in V is a maximal proper subspace of V. That is, if W is a hyperspace in V implies W is the proper subspace of V. Also, W union some vector alpha is equal to V. This is the definition of maximal proper subspace of. So it is not W union alpha. Span of W union alpha is equal to V. Okay, that is the definition of maximal proper subspace. That means there does not exist a proper subspace containing W. There does not exist a proper subspace of V containing W. That is the meaning of a maximal proper subspace. Okay, W is the maximal proper subspace of V means if you add any other vector that is not in W, and union span of W union that vector must be equal to V. That is the definition of a hyperspace. Okay, in general. Now moving to next theorem. If f is a non-zero linear functional on a vector space V, then null space of f is a hyperspace in V. If f is a non-zero linear functional on a vector space V, then null space of f is a hyperspace in V. This is one result. We have already proved this in the case of finite dimensional space. We have already proved nullity is equal to dimension of V minus 1 by proving range of f is equal to range of f is contained in f, therefore rank of f is equal to 1, etc, etc. Okay, that is in the case of a finite dimensional space. Here we have to prove in the case of a in general case. Here we have to prove all these things in general case. Okay, so conversely, every hyperspace in V is the null space of a non-zero linear functional on V. So first we have to prove if f is any non-zero linear functional on V, then null space of f is a hyperspace in V. Conversely, every hyperspace in V is the null space of a non-zero linear functional on V. Okay. So moving to the proof, first we assume that let f be a non-zero linear functional on V, and we have to prove that null space of f is a hyperspace in V. So let f be a non-zero linear functional on V and nf be its null space. Okay. So let alpha be a vector in V which is not in NF. That is a vector. And alpha is a vector in V that is not in NF means what is null space of F? Null space of F is set of all alpha belongs to V such that F of alpha equal to 0. So a vector in V which is not in NF means F of alpha is not equal to 0. Therefore, let alpha be a vector in V which is not in NF. That is a vector such that f of alpha not equal to 0. Now we shall show that every vector in V is in the subspace spanned by NF and alpha. That is, we want to show that span of NF union alpha, set alpha is equal to V. This is what we have to prove. That implies NF is a hyperspace in V. Okay. Now the subspace spanned by, what about the subspace spanned by NF and alpha? Clearly, subspace spanned by NF and alpha. The elements, suppose let alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. Alpha n be a basis for, alpha k be a basis for NF and alpha. Then what is actually subspace spanned by NF? This is the set of a linear combination of this one. Linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. Alpha k is again an element in NF. Therefore, you can write this as some gamma plus linear combination of alpha is some C alpha. Therefore, the elements of subspace spanned by NF and alpha consist of all vectors of the form gamma plus C alpha, where gamma belongs to NF and C belongs to F. So all elements of the form, this form clearly belongs to span of NF and alpha. Okay. So if you take any vector beta belongs to V and if we define C equal to F of beta by F of alpha, clearly F of alpha not equal to 0. We have assumed that. Okay. Alpha is a vector such that F of alpha not equal to 0. So this expression of C is valid. Then if you take gamma is equal to beta minus C alpha. If you take gamma equal to beta minus C alpha, then what is f of gamma? F of gamma is f of beta minus C alpha, f of beta minus C into f of alpha. For C, you substitute f of beta by f of alpha, cancel each other, which is equal to 0. Therefore, f of gamma equal to 0. Therefore, if beta belongs to V and we define C equal to f of beta by f of alpha, then if we define gamma equal to beta minus C alpha, then gamma belongs to NF. And beta you can write as gamma plus C alpha because we choose gamma is equal to beta minus C alpha. From this we get beta is equal to gamma plus C alpha. Therefore, if you choose any beta belongs to V and assume C equal to F beta by F of alpha, then that beta you can write as some gamma plus C alpha where gamma belongs to NF. Okay. So B is in the subspace spanned by NF and alpha. So beta is in the subspace spanned by NF and alpha. Okay. Therefore, if beta is any element in V, beta is in the subspace spanned by NF and alpha implies, what is the meaning of that? V is equal to span of NF union alpha. That means NF is a hyperspace in V. Clear? Okay. Once again, we are taking NF, F is a non-zero linear function, NF is its null space. Take a vector alpha that is in V such that NF is, alpha is not in NF. Because f is a non-zero linear function. As f is a non-zero linear functional, NF null space of f is clearly not equal to v because for some element f of alpha must be not equal to 0. Therefore, clearly there exists a alpha belongs to alpha belongs to v such that alpha not belongs to NF. Okay, and now we consider span of NF and alpha. Span of NF and alpha must be of this form. If we choose beta equal to this one and C equal to this one, then f of gamma is equal to 0. That means beta you can write as some gamma plus C alpha, where gamma belongs to NF. Therefore, any vector in V is of the form linear combination of NF and alpha. That means NF union alpha, span of NF union alpha equal to V. This implies NF is a hyperspace in V. Okay, thus null space of a non-zero linear functional is a hyperspace in V. Now conversely, what we have to prove? We have to choose a hyperspace in V and we have to prove that hyperspace is a null space of some non-zero linear function. Okay, conversely, suppose that N is a hyperspace in V. Okay, so N is a hyperspace in V means span of N union some vector uh, alpha in V is equal to V. Okay, so fix some vector alpha which is not in N. Okay, clear? Since N is a maximal proper subspace, the subspace spanned by N and alpha is the entire space V. Therefore, each beta in V has of the form beta is equal to gamma plus C alpha because N is a maximal proper subspace. Therefore, beta is equal to gamma plus C alpha where gamma belongs to N and C belongs to N. Now we are proving this representation for beta is unique. Suppose there exists another expression for beta, that is beta is equal to gamma dash plus some c dash alpha, where gamma dash belongs to n and c dash belongs to n. To prove the representation is unique, it is enough to prove that gamma equal to gamma dash and c equal to c dash. Okay. So beta, we have beta equal to gamma plus C alpha. We have beta equal to gamma dash plus C dash alpha. So gamma plus C alpha equal to gamma dash plus C dash alpha. C dash taking C alpha here and gamma dash here, we get C dash alpha minus C alpha is equal to gamma minus gamma dash. You have to take C alpha here, C dash alpha. Okay, now that implies C dash minus C into alpha equal to gamma minus gamma dash. Now suppose C dash minus C are not equal to 0. Then what happens? Alpha you can write as gamma minus gamma dash by C dash minus C. Where is gamma? Gamma is in null space. Gamma dash is also in null space. Therefore, this is also in N. Okay. Sorry. Gamma is in N. Gamma dash is also in N. Therefore, gamma minus gamma dash by C dash minus C is also in N. That is a contradiction. Alpha belongs to N. That is a contradiction because we choose an alpha which is not in N. Therefore, C dash minus C must be equal to 0. So, C dash minus C must be equal to 0 implies C dash equal to C. C dash equal to C means gamma minus gamma dash is equal to 0. That means gamma minus gamma dash equal to 0 implies gamma equal to gamma dash. Therefore, the representation of beta is unique. Therefore, if beta belongs to V, then beta you can write as gamma plus C alpha for unique gamma and C belongs to F. Now for beta belongs to V, there is a unique scalar C such that beta is equal to beta equal to gamma plus C alpha. So gamma equal to beta minus C alpha. So for if beta belongs to V, there is a unique scalar C in such that beta minus C alpha is in N. Okay. Now we are defining a map G such that G of beta equal to C. G of beta is equal to C. Okay. So G is a map from V to F such that G of beta equal to C. Because for every beta you can write as gamma plus some C alpha. So for that beta there exists a unique C and this value we are marking as a image of G. So G of beta equal to C implies clearly G is a linear function that you can check. You take two elements, beta 1 is equal to some gamma 1 plus C1 alpha, beta 2 is equal to some gamma 2 plus C2 alpha, G of beta 1 is equal to C1, G of, okay, already I have written, sorry. G of beta 1 is equal to C1, G of beta 2 is equal to C2. So G of C beta 1 beta 2 is equal to find value of C beta 1, then add beta 2, we get C gamma 1 plus gamma 2 plus C C1 plus C2 of alpha. Therefore, G of this element is equal to coefficient of alpha, that is C C1 plus C2, and C1 you can write as G of beta 1 and C2 you can write as G of beta 2. Therefore, G is linear. Now, what is NG? Null space of G. Null space of G is set of all beta belongs to V such that G of beta is equal to 0. That is set of all beta of the form gamma plus C alpha such that G of beta equals 0. That is set of all beta is equal to gamma plus C alpha such that C equal to 0. C equal to 0 means beta is equal to gamma. That is Ng equal to set of all gamma such that gamma belongs to N. Therefore, Ng is equal to N. Therefore, hyperspace N is the null space of a non-zero linear functional G. Okay. Therefore, every hyperspace in V is a null space of a non-zero linear functional on V. Why it is non-zero? Suppose G of beta equal to 0 for every beta belongs to V, then what happens? Then null space of G is equal to, then null space of G equal to, uh, then we get null space of G. Sorry, null space of G equal to N. Here we get null space of G equal to N, and which is equal to, if G of beta equal to 0 for every beta belongs to V, then null space of G equal to V. Because suppose G is 0, then G of beta equal to 0 for every beta belongs to V. That is C equal to 0 for every beta belongs to V. So, beta you can write as gamma. So, every beta belongs to V is an element of N. That means V is a subset of N. Already we have N is a subset of V. This implies N is equal to V. But N is a hyperspace. Therefore, N is a maximal proper subspace of V. Therefore, N must be therefore N must be N must be contained in V. Okay. Therefore, G must be non-zero. Okay. Hope this is clear.